If you are a frequent traveler or perhaps just travel sporadically for leisure or maybe once a year vacations, then there's a chance that the airport ranks at the top of your list for places that you demand a high level of customer satisfaction. And that's not unreasonable given that the airport is a source for much of the stress and anxiety associated with travel. But recently, there was an airport study that was conducted that ranks airport satisfaction and was talked about all over the news. And it is the 2025 JD Power North American Airport Satisfaction Study. And they report that in a year marked by record travel and rising passenger expectations, customer satisfaction gains have been on the rise, showing that the capital improvements and investments that various airports have been making are actually working. And they go on to say something that it revealed that was surprising to some was that airport travelers love airports that make them feel more human and comfortable, not necessarily just airports that are large. So they go on to kind of break that down in a very nice, very neat way. So if you go on their website, you can actually see the study and their findings and their graphs that show the different satisfaction levels amongst the different airports. They kind of ranked them and grouped airports into size categories. In the mega airport category, those serving over, I think it was 33 million passengers annually. So this is the super large airports. Minneapolis St. Paul International took the top spot. It beat out other super large airports like Detroit Metro and Phoenix Sky Harbor. And that was thanks to Minneapolis St. Paul International Airport's efficient security and a growing emphasis on local food and retail options. I think this is important because I do agree with the security aspect of it. Of course, you want to feel safe in an airport, everything has to be secure. But in addition to that, efficient security means that the security lines, have to be staffed by adequate amount of agents to cope with the high volume of passenger travel during times of high demand. And also, things have to be efficient. And I think that there's nothing worse than people that have to wait on those standard security lines. And sometimes, if you're in a little bit of a rush, it can be very stressful when you have to get and wait on those big long lines and possibly miss a flight because of that. But even if you don't miss a flight, just the stress of actually waiting on that line and seeing how big it is, that can create a lot of anxiety. So it's good to have a customer satisfaction factor be this emphasis on security. And the security satisfaction scores are definitely a big component of this. And I think other airports that didn't rank as high should really prioritize this among other things to make satisfaction a high priority in general. So another thing that I want to talk about here is the food and retail options. Personally, I like to get to the airport early whenever possible. And rather than just sit there and wait in a seat by the gate, I do like to get up, walk around, explore a little bit. And if I'm hungry, I do want to see what they have available and having a nice wide variety of dining options, not just expensive ones, but just simple things as well, sandwiches, convenience store foods, things like that. Grab and go stuff that you can get at the kiosk is a great alternative too if an airport is not that big. They can certainly have those pop-up kiosks with different kind of foods that people like. And that's a way that they can kind of make up for the fact that they may not have standalone restaurants. The kiosks are also very good. So having good food options and of course, retail options. A lot of people do like to window shop, browse, and even literally shop at the airport. And that could be a fun thing to do to pass the time while you're waiting for your flight. And having a decent amount of retail options is something that a lot of airports should really take into consideration. It does make a difference in terms of the overall passenger feel and kind of sets the mood and the tone for a positive mindset for travel. And without getting too much into the weeds on this, in the large airport category, which is smaller than the mega airport category, John Wayne Airport in Orange County, in California, ranked number one there. It's a smaller, large airport, short lines, friendly staff, and a calm atmosphere that feels more like a boutique hotel than a transit hub. There are other airports as well in that category that showed decent improvements in customer satisfaction. which shows that airports are climbing through the ranks of customer satisfaction by focusing on passenger experience over scale and the size of the airport. So that's a good thing. And then if you're interested in the medium airport category, Indianapolis International came out on top. It's a consistent favorite, apparently, with this study, with intuitive design and a reputation for cleanliness and ease. Intuitive design is really important, I think, as well, by the way, because nothing worse than getting lost in an airport if the signage isn't clear and the layout kind of makes you get lost. And that can be stressful in and of itself. So these airports aren't trying to be flashy. They're trying to be functional, and travelers are noticing. And that's a great thing. And I hope more airports jump on the bandwagon and really try to look at this study and see what is working for customers and passengers and what makes them want to go to these airports and what makes a positive experience. So going on, according to the study, the biggest gains in satisfaction in just overall came from food and beverage and retail. And that's not just because they offer better coffee or more shops. It's about airports embracing local flavor. Travelers want to feel like they've arrived somewhere, not just passing through. And I think that's a nice way to put it. You don't want it to just be the airport, be the ends to a means. You want it to be also a secondary destination where you kind of begin your travels there. That could be a place where you also look forward to going to and having a decently fun, relaxing time. So when an airport serves regional dishes, showcases local brands, and creates a sense of place, it becomes part of the journey, not just a layover. So yeah, kind of echoing what I just said there. But passenger satisfaction is climbing, like I said before. And this kind of shows that airports are investing in ambiance and different amenities and even emotional comfort to make the travel experience smoother and more memorable. And continuing on, the airports that rank the highest aren't necessarily the ones with the most flights or the biggest terminals. They're the ones that feel less overwhelming. And this kind of goes back to just making the airport feel comfortable, a nice place to relax. And smaller airports reduce what they say here is a nice way to put it, sensory overload. They offer faster transitions, obviously because they're smaller, so you could get around quicker if you have a connecting flight and you have to go from one part of the airport to the other. Fewer crowds and a more personal touch as a result of that. So yeah, the smaller size does matter, especially in a post-pandemic world where travelers are more attuned to stress, space, and service. Meanwhile, some airports continue to struggle. You can just go on to the list on JD Powers. There's a bunch of them, and they all highlight the general thesis here is that the ones that are struggling are the ones that are outdated in terms of their infrastructure and have inconsistent service, and that drags down the overall customer satisfaction experience, even if those airports, the ones that are dragging a little bit, are technically bigger than some of the ones that are high on the list. So this study isn't just a ranking, it's a reflection of how travel is changing. People want efficiency, yes, but they also want emotion. They want to feel welcomed, not just processed. And that's a lesson not just for airports, but for anyone creating experiences, whether it's a brand or any type of a journey you want to take people on. And by the way, even airlines are catching on to this customer satisfaction stuff because JetBlue tops overall airline satisfaction in 2025 in that survey. And it shows how customer first design and thoughtful service are winning loyalty in the skies. So next time you fly, pay attention to the airport. Is it just a place that you pass through, or does it make you feel something? Because in 2025, the airports aren't just about moving people. I think airports are a great place to set the tone. And if you are able to go on a flight that has a gate in a nice part of an airport that has good phone charging stations that actually work, plenty of seating areas, and a wide range of places to explore, from different dining options to different retail shops that you can window shop and browse, even if you don't wind up buying anything, then I think that's going to enhance the overall experience. It's going to make the time go by faster, and it's going to put you into a nice, relaxed state of mind And maybe you might even have some fun at the airport and actually look forward to spending time there, since we all have to spend time at the airport if we're going to go on a flight. So yeah, anyway, with that said, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.